Studio 42, it's Hotstove Tonight.
Back with Elliot and Glenn and Heels. Nicklas Backstrom, the story at Sochi. Where do you want to take that?
Well, of all the players that I talked to, all of them, to a man, said the one guy who would not be taking performance-enhancing drugs, Nicklas Backstrom. No question. So, ruling comes down. He's allowed to keep his silver medal. But there's a couple things we know about this, and it really sucks for the player. 3 times he told the doctor that he was taking medication for allergies. 3 times, on 3 separate occasions. The doctor could have put it on a therapeutic use exemption list, and everything would be fine. But the problem is, Dr. Seuss didn't do it properly and got blamed for it. And so this guy doesn't get a chance at the gold medal game. His team's told 10 minutes before they go on the ice. He's told 2 hours before. But the bigger issue, it took 4 days for these results to come out.
And the Finns...
It should have been 48 hours.
And you shouldn't have played against the Finns if he tested earlier, too. So they have equal reason to be upset.
So how does it go moving forward? Guaranteed, if the players go to the next Olympics, this will be another area that they will clean up, that the Players Association will say, this can't happen. And it's another reason why they should have a World Cup, because they could control all those circumstances and situations.
Elliot, in the whirlwind around the Vancouver Canucks, the latest whisper is Markus Naslund's leaving Modo to take the helm in Vancouver. What's going on?
Well, he is leaving Modo. I spoke to him today in Sweden, and his basic reaction was, we are getting way too far ahead of ourselves if we are believing that speculation. He said that there is nothing to it. Don't draw any comparison between the reason I left Modo and the fact that, that there may or may not be an opening in Vancouver. He said he hasn't spoken to anybody there. I said, what happens if Mike Gillis calls you? He says, I don't know. I'm at a point in my life where I want to make a change. I don't know what my future is. I'm going to look at a lot of different things, but nobody should assume there's any kind of pre-done deal here.
Well, Mike hasn't talked to him since the Bure retirement.
Yeah,
but,
he was there.
Okay, Vancouver's most popular player, arguably. Mike Gillis represented him.
Yes, he did.
He's now just quit his job in Sweden and is looking for work, potentially somewhere in the NHL.
Seems like a good fit to you.
I don't know. Fill in the blanks.
Like I said,
and it's the way, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Teams: Pat LaFontaine, Cam Neely, Steve Yzerman.
But the one thing he just said is, don't automatically assume anything like that. There's nothing done or set. He did not resign from one job to go to the other.
General manager meeting.
Yeah, let's go to
move on, because this is concrete. There's a couple things that'll go before the competition committee, and it'll be for votes. And one of the interesting ones is face-offs. Now, normally what happens, we see this with San Jose, player goes in, gets automatically kicked out, right? Kicked out of the draw. So the next guy who comes in, if it's Joe Thornton, whoever it may be, can cheat like crazy, because there's no way you'll throw him out. So if you cheat on a face-off, you don't get kicked out, your penalty is to go back to that other line, which is behind it. So you have less chance of winning the draw, less leverage, and your face-off stats will certainly go
Which
down.
begs the obvious question. It's a big difference between Joel Thornton stepping back and David Desharnais stepping back.
Totally, but just don't cheat.
Huh?
But what it does do is and I was asking Craig McTavish, who was one of the great centermen of all time, is it does affect how much leverage you can get over the guy in front of you. That's what they're trying to
But furthermore,
change.
the hash marks on the circle move 2 feet apart further. I think you're going to have everybody busting for that puck, busting for position. It's going to be chaos, don't you think?
No, I don't think it's chaos. But however, I think it's good for the game. The other one is in overtime. 57% of games go to a shootout. So what they're going to do in overtime, you're going to switch sides for the goaltenders. So it's longer change. 37% of goals are scored in the second period. So it's a better chance at ending games with authenticity.
A couple of other things. The draft lottery odds, they're looking at changing them in 2 ways. One is, instead of just picking the team that's going to pick first, maybe picking the top 3 or the top 5. And the second thing they're going to look at is weighting the odds by, if you take a look at the last 5 years, the 14 teams that missed the playoffs, look how far each spot finished out of the playoffs, and using that to figure out a percentage of what their odds for the lottery is. So ranking spots 17 through 30, looking at how far each spot missed out of the playoffs over a 5-year period, and using that to determine the odds. The other thing is...
Can you do that one more time?
Hey, you know what? I think they can understand it if you can't. Second thing is, here's a goal from Alexander Galchenyuk earlier in the season. And so Colin Campbell sends this out, and it was ruled a good goal, and he had 11 responses, 6 to 5, on whether or not it was a good goal or not. I think one of the things they're trying to determine is, can they simplify the rule enough so everybody can agree that that is a goal? They want more goals in the game, so they want to take a look at, can they streamline it so more goals scored can be done that way.
The spirit of scoring goals is to score it with your stick. You don't headbutt it in. You don't punch it in with your glove. No, you use your stick. This is stupid. And if they go down that road of, again, more video review, it's a waste of time.
No, that
Speaking
has
of stupid,
nothing to do with video review.
You know what's better? Is they're going to get rid of the list for the shootout, where the coach writes out the list. How dumb is that? Can't you just let the shooter go shoot? And if the other team scores first, and you got Oshie on number 3 on your list, you can move them up to number 2, lose the list.
Gotta go. Love it. I can't believe they meet so close to the trade deadline. I think that was the most ridiculous part. You're hot about a trade you didn't make, or you're hot about one you did make, plus your team's in the throes of a playoff race. Bad time to be thinking about the state of the game. Hockey Tonight continues.